All right, what's up, guys? I got Meaghen and Amanda here today from Well Balanced Dog Training. So I just want to do a quick client interview with you guys. So do me a favor, just kick it off and tell me a little bit about your business and how you guys got started.
Okay. So we got started in January of this year officially, and we heard about Kevin. He reached out, asked us, if he could help. And at first we were really interested, and we got talking a little bit, and he really wanted to help us with the marketing aspect of growing our business and really focusing on people who we could help with aggressive and reactive dogs, niche market.
Yep.
And it really launched our business a lot more than we could have done on our own, because we were just doing very small Facebook ads and word of mouth stuff.
Sure.
So it's been helping a lot.
Cool. Yeah, so Meaghen, tell me a little bit about that. So when I first reached out to you, you were kind of just starting your business, right? You were like somewhere else previously, working at a different company, right? And then you were just launching your business, and you were kind of in a place, if I remember correctly, where you wanted to take on more work, but you just weren't sure if you could invest in the business yet, or how much work you could accommodate. So yeah, just do me a favor and take me back a little bit to kind of like where you were even just a couple of months ago with that.
Okay, so no employees, didn't even have a facility.
Yeah.
And didn't really know if I was gonna do this full time.
Mm-hmm.
Since then we have almost four employees, not including Amanda and I.
Wow.
And the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah.
So and we can't keep up.
Yeah. And we're not talking about like a 6-month period, a year-long period here, right? Like you're talking about just really like a couple months ago in the grand scheme of things, right? That this was able to happen, because you guys started hiring people. How long ago? A month or two ago, you started signing on like your first employees?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how quick it can happen. I say this with all of my clients that, a lot of these goals that we have feel so far off into the future. Like, oh, theoretically, it'll be so nice one day when I can have employees, or when I can get a nicer facility, or whatever it may be. But if you can just find a way to consistently generate clients for yourselves, I mean, that was the missing piece, right? You guys just, you knew how to do the training. You just didn't have the people calling you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was taking a lot of time before we, did the ads to like dig around and like look on Facebook posts and advertise ourselves. And I mean, I still do that, but I'm not spending hours like scouring Facebook looking for a place that we could put our name. And that's still a great method. And, word of mouth is great too.
Yep.
But that does take effort, and it's not quite as concentrated with the ads. People are getting, they're typing in what they're looking for, and they're finding us.
Yes,
exactly.
People call us.
Yes.
And that's the key difference here. And they find us and they're like, I really need help with this and this and this. And your guidance has really helped us, close deals too.
Cool.
Because when we're talking to them, we say, what is the alternative?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the other missing piece to this, right? That a lot of people don't discuss is, a lot of marketing agencies, what they do is, and I don't even really look at myself in that regard. It's kind of like a marketing and consulting piece to a business, right? Because a lot of people are like, hey, I sent you leads, or even worse is like, hey, I got you clicks to your website, but they're not converting. But even if we do, like, we just send you leads, it doesn't really mean anything if it's not actually turning into business, right? So that's the most important thing, is that this is an investment, right? You're investing in your business, and it should be giving you a good return. So Amanda, tell me a little bit about your story. So you were working in the medical field, right?
Yep. So I was working as a nurse, getting burnt out from COVID was a lot.
Yeah.
So in May, I decided to come onto the team with Meaghen and just like completely switch my career. I came in to kind of do like the billing and stuff like that. And the kind of the rest is sort of history. yeah, it's great. I love working here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy looking back. I mean, I remember the first time, Megan, the first time you and I spoke and you trying to figure out, exactly what you wanted to do. And then we set up another meeting, and Amanda, you were there and you were telling me like, it would be great if I could come onto the team, if I could join this business, but obviously you had the security of a job at that time, right? So it was a big leap of faith, but clearly it really paid off for you guys. So it's really amazing to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, tell me a little bit, like, when did you guys notice like things starting to really change? Was it pretty quickly for you, or?
It was immediately.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really immediately. As soon as those notifications started coming in, there was a little bit of, on our end, kind of figuring out what the best method for, doing consultations, and the approach we had was, because some of the stuff we were doing wasn't really working. It wasn't converting the consultations into business. But we kind of honed in on what our strengths were, and really solidified. So we had a much better chance of converting those over.
Yeah, but now you're killing it. Like I spoke to you the other day, you're like, we're converting like 80% of people or something like that, 70% of people. It's wild.
Yeah.
And that also comes from, guidance from you. We were doing it one way and it wasn't working at all. You suggested to us, do this, this, and this, play to your strengths, do this. And we were like, you know what? Let's give that a try.
Yeah.
And we did. And here we go.
Awesome. Yeah. I love to hear that. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a small tweak. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't make colossal changes in your business and like restructure every single program. It's, sometimes it's just packaging it in a slightly different way, right? Touching on certain points when it comes to selling that you weren't saying before. So, I mean, tell me, like, what did you guys change in your sales process? What do you think was like the most beneficial thing that you did?
I don't do consults anymore.
Yeah. She's been banned from consults.
That's right. Yeah.
So I handle all the consults. We were doing in-person consults initially, and very time consuming. And we weren't seeing too much of a huge rate of conversion. So I started, mostly driven by COVID coming kind of back with the Delta variant. I started doing Zoom consultations. So we switched over to that, and I'm handling the consultations. We set a time limit on them, half hour, because otherwise they turn into these like marathon consultations, and we end up learning way too much.
It turns into a training session too.
So between that, the length of the consult and the driving time, we were exerting way too much into it and not getting what we thought we wanted to get back from them. So we switch over to Zoom. I do them now. I present the facts. I give them, options, what they need. And then if I need, Megan's really the expert. So if I need, she's always there as a backup, but I handle them all now, and she's really good at. And we also market our price point a little differently now. So instead of saying our board and train is this much plus the cost of tools, we've increased the price of the package, but it includes the cost of tools, which for some reason is hugely made quite a difference with people, because they think they're getting a lot more value. And they like that it's all one price. So whether we need 3 tools or 6 tools, it's included.
Exactly.
That's really not a huge cost for us.
Yeah, it's much more digestible, I'd say, for people, right? Like, and it's a smoother sell too, because you're like, here's the price. You don't need to go like, here's the price plus $200 for this tool, plus another $30 here, and oh, you're going to need this too. And it's like all of a sudden you're tacking on an extra $400 or $500 at the end or something like that. And it's like, just put it all in there. People, are going to really, feel much more comfortable with that. It's just less you need to even like sell them on. It's just one price that you give them and you move on. But yeah, just for some more context here for everybody, Megan, your background is in dog training, rehabilitation, and like working with like severe aggression cases, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, I remember like from the beginning, you being like, making that abundantly clear, like I am a dog trainer. I love training dogs. That's what I want to do. The rest of this, I could kind of, take it or leave it, really leave it. Right. Like when it comes to doing consults, selling people. And so Amanda, that was like perfect for you to be able to step into that role. Cause you're like, I love people, when you were a nurse, like, that's a very, compassionate role that you have to have. You're like always talking with people face to face. So it's just interesting to me how when you can really play to your strengths in your business, that's when you can really start making some moves, instead of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You're like, okay, let's see what we're both strong at and then just apply that to the business.
Right. And like you were saying before, I was doing the consults part of them, and I was turning it into a training session.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to
Yeah.
do. And then, I'm extremely long-winded because I do have the answers that they need.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Amanda is just like, no, this is what we can do. I've seen this done this many times.
Mhm.
Take it or leave it. And that's it.
Yeah.
And
It's exactly right. It's exactly what you got to do. Yeah.
Like, I knew
Because
in the
go ahead,
consult,
Amanda.
I knew it was all like over as soon as like Meaghen took the leash from the dog, and I'm like,
and
I'm like, Meaghen.
and I
Yeah,
just,
it's turning into
oh
a
my
training
God.
session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she like, I would like give her the look, and she just like,
Oops.
she'd be off. I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's who you are, right? You're a dog trainer.
Yeah.
Like you see a problem and you're like, I know how to fix this. Like, just give me the
Yeah.
leash. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with. Like, where do I draw the line? And the recommendation I always give is like, you want to paint a picture for people of like what it could look like. And you want to show them what it's going to look like, but you don't want to teach them how, right? We don't want to teach them how to, get their dog to stop pulling on the leash during the consultation or stop jumping or whatever it may be. Because as soon as you do that, even if you just give them one little golden nugget, they're going to be like, that's enough for me to hang on to. And I'm just going to go home and work on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And see where that gets me.
I always do provide them so especially with our board and trains where we're booking out further right now.
Mhm.
When I do the consults, I give them a few tips to kind of get them through
Mm-hmm.
until the board and train, whether they have a dog that's biting, like what we would suggest they do in the meantime, or if they're
Mhm.
doing this certain thing, I give them just a small little bit of advice, enough to
Keep them safe.
keep
Keep
them
them on the
safe.
hook,
Yeah,
yeah.
usually, but also to the very easy for them to integrate into their life, and then
Yeah.
see a difference, and they're like, wow,
Yes.
and they haven't even had the board and train yet.
Right. But these are people that are already like on the hook for you guys, and you're like,
Yep.
they're coming in.
Yeah.
Are these people that have
Yep.
like put down a down payment or a deposit already too?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So these are your customers. You guys are just limited on space right now as far as dogs you can take in for dog, board and train. So you're like, hey, work on this. And that's probably better for you too. Like they come in with a little bit of training, a little bit more of a foundation for you guys to start working with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
For sure.
So if you guys don't mind, I'd love to kind of get into some numbers a little bit. Just take me back to like when we were first starting together. What were you guys consistently doing in a month revenue wise?
Ooh.
I think it was probably in like the teens, so like 10,000 to
Yeah.
maybe 15,000
Yep.
roughly.
Was that like when you first
when I
started?
first started? Yeah.
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 And previous to that, if I can remember, it was kind of even maybe a little bit lower, like 8 to 10 or something like that. It was kind
Yeah,
of
it
like
was-
up and down, right? It was the thing.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
there
It was
wasn't
like-
much
It was for whatever
consistency.
Meaghen could pull in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing, she'd come home sometimes with a board and train dog, or
Yeah.
she'd have a couple play groups a month. Just kind of like enough to get by.
Yeah, I was-
Exactly. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
making it.
Yeah.
You were making it. Yeah. But now you guys are thriving, right?
Yes.
So you told me the other day, you guys are on track, or you just did your first $30,000 month, right?
We are almost at the end of this month, and we
Mhm.
are going to exceed 30.
You're going to exceed 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Seriously, that is so cool to watch, because again, like this is not something that took 5 years to accomplish. You know what I
No.
mean? And like when you're in a job, you're working a 9 to 5 job for a company, you're dreaming of making that money. And you're like, maybe if I hang on and I, put in overtime every single day, and if I do the right things, I'll be able to make $15,000 in a month one day, or, have a salary of 180, 200 grand a year or something like that. But like, you guys were able to accomplish this very quickly. And this is not a fluke thing. This is not just something that just magically happened. This was something that we plugged the system into your business, and you've just been consistently putting one foot in front of the other, doing the right things. And now you're reaping the rewards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, how does that make you guys feel? I mean, where are you at now with all of this?
So I think really it's making us realize that like the sky is sort of the limit. We have plans. We want to, save up and get a place that we can live at and have the business
As well as keep the facility.
the facility, because we like having it.
We're
And
paying,
that's something that would be, that would be like a couple months ago, not even a thought in our head.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy because, when I first started, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay rent here every month. And it was like, it was blowing my mind. I was like, I don't know if I made the right decision. I'm scared.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I need to hire more people. I can't keep up. I can't like this. It's a total different worry.
Yeah.
And, we're paying off our old debt from, things from it's almost like a past life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man. Yeah.
Just-
I could totally relate to that.
Megan just paid off a credit card and I just paid off my car.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
like,
congrats. That's amazing.
so we're very excited about that. You
Yeah.
know, that getting that debt under control is a big,
Yeah.
project for us. And it's really amazing what you can do.
And now we're going to tackle our student loans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that is so unbelievably cool. Like just the feeling of being debt free or working towards it. It's just like there's no better feeling, So yeah, that's amazing, guys. And you guys have been able to raise your prices too, right? Like you're not
Yes,
charging the same amount that you were before.
Yeah, we had to raise the prices because we were getting too many inquiries.
I love that. We had to raise our prices, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
That's so
no.
cool.
Because we were just like, we want to have quality in what we're doing. But in order to do that, we can't take as many.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that, this is something that I was, I've been putting some thought into myself, and I put together a guide on raising prices and stuff like that. And one of the points in there is about that exactly, that when you raise your prices, it allows you to deliver a better product to your customers as well, because you don't need to, we all have goals and ambitions and bills we have to pay too, right? So we have a certain amount of money that we need to take in order to be able to do all this. And what happens is if you're charging a low price point, you have to take in so many dogs, you have to see so many people, and you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off trying to do all of this. And you can't really deliver the best possible experience for people versus if you just had a couple things that you were working on a month and you were like, I can really focus in to make sure that these results are like premium.
That's true. Yep.
So yeah, what were you guys, was it as simple as just, okay, we're going from 2,000 to 2,500, I'm just picking numbers out of the sky here, but like, how did you guys go about raising prices? Was there anything else that you needed to do?
So it was, when we were doing our board and trains, I've always done it $1,000 a week for how, and that's how I don't know. I'm not really sure how that number came about, but then we raised it to 1,200. And then in fact, one person, they were like, this is an emergency. We have to do this right away. So we were like, okay, fine. You can come in, even though we're booked, but $1,500 a week. And that was that. So
and now has that become the standard for you guys, is 1,500 a week?
we're talking about it.
Yeah.
1,200 right now.
And then it's going to definitely increase again.
Yeah. If you have something that's very valuable to people and they want it, like they're going to pay for it. And if they're already paying, like, think about that, like the difference between $1,000 and $1,200, that's not going to be make or break for most people that want to do it. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing making a jump from 1,200 to 1,500, right? I've kind of noticed that the industry standard has almost become $1,000 a week and started to kind of creep up above that for board and trains. But yeah, if you can really pack a lot of value into your programs, and it's about the value that you have in your programs. It's not about like cramming in all these extra little things like, we'll have a live feed or something like that of like your dog training every single day, or, you know, all these different little add-ons and stuff like that. People are coming to dog trainers for a very specific reason. It's because they want their dog trained and they want the embarrassing behaviors or the frustrating behaviors corrected and gone. So if you can, you know, really communicate to people that like, hey, this program's going to take care of that, that's really what it's all about, right? Is that kind of been what your experience has been?
Yeah. And we really stand behind what we do. So we're always available to our clients after the fact.
Yeah.
Whether it's a quick phone call afterwards, if they're having an issue, or if we need them to come in for a session.
Yeah.
We're there for them. We want this to be successful. We really stand behind what we do. So that's kind of like an added benefit to them.
Yeah.
Because
I love that.
If they have an issue afterwards, we want to help them work through it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just all about coming from the right place, right? Like, it's funny, people, you know, have these hesitations to being like promoting that, right? Like lifetime access. We're not saying lifetime training, although some people do that and have a lot of success with it, right? Because truth is, most people are never going to take you up on the lifetime training. They're going to move on.
Yeah,
but
it's very true. A lot of people, although I say it many times to them that we're available to them, don't use their sessions afterwards. And they might call us or text us once or twice, but like, they don't need to, and they don't use it. It's not a huge expense to us. Like,
it's the same thing in my business. I'm here for every single one of my clients. Anytime they need me, like I will hop on a call, we'll schedule something. I'll figure out any problem you have. We will work through it, you know? But most times when we can just plug it in, like you guys, you're just off on your own, doing your own thing. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, at this point, we check in just to be like, you know, make sure things are still going great. But at the end of the day, you become busy, and it's the same thing with your clients. Life moves on. They start getting busy and they're like, yeah, you know, the dog training worked. We don't need to continue to do this every single day, you know? Yeah. But the thing is with like lifetime access is if you can't pick up a call 3 months from now from somebody who paid you a couple $1,000, like, what are you in this for? You know what I mean? Like, we can all get on a call and just be like, oh, what's going on? Okay, here's what I would do. And by the way, just taking a phone call, you could theoretically sell more training if you wanted to. It doesn't mean that you need to do everything for free, but if someone's calling you and they're like, you know, I kind of feel like our dog here is regressing, you can say, come on in, we can do a refresher lesson and you can charge for it. You know, it's not like you have to be tethered to doing stuff for free for the rest of your life. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, tell me a little bit more about what do you guys kind of have planned next year? Are you looking at a bigger facility, or what's the plan?
So right now we are trying to save as much as we possibly can to buy a property that we can just grow even more. So then we'll have, you know, the facility here where we can do a lot of the in-facility training where people come here and you know, we have a big open space. And then we want to also have a place where we can take the dogs, and it's going to, well, hopefully have a lot of, you know, off-leash area with woods, whatever, and really build it out for ourselves and to live there too, because we're really limited with how many dogs we can take at a time. And that's holding us back so much.
Yeah. So where are you guys at now as far as how many dogs?
We can take usually 3 or 4 board and trains at a time. And we have so many people asking us about boarding in general. Like, I want to board my dog. Where can I go? Where can I go? And it's just, you know,
we'd love to be able to accommodate them and take them. And that's a whole nother, you know, added kind of thing on top of the business.
Yeah.
And we're kind of looking for a place where we can do that,
because that's a huge moneymaker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Insane. You know, holiday weekend, you can charge
a holiday rate.
Yeah.
And it's dogs you already trained, so you know they're really good.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to worry about them. You're like, this is the training's all done here. So you know, that just reminded me, you guys have like 2 aspects to your business, right? You kind of have like a doggy day school, right? Doggy daycare, right? And then you have the training portion, right? So Amanda, we were talking about this the other day, how, we really, with the paid advertising we're running for you, we really target the actual training, boarding and training or private lessons, stuff like that, right? And for the day school, it's really just kind of organically building, right? Because it has to be hyper local to your area. People are not going to drive 45 minutes to drop their dog off every day, right? But so that's super cool. Like, tell me how you guys kind of organize that, because I know there's a lot of people trying to figure this out in their business. Like, how do you guys go about organizing your day around managing all these dogs and then doing, board and trains? Do you just have those board and train dogs in with the other dogs as well?
For the most part, depending on, what their issues are, they might have to be a little more isolated. But we've hired two people, and they kind of run the play group. And we're still kind of working on a way to a system to make it as good as possible, as productive as possible. And so they sort of handle that, and Meaghen sort of handles the board and trains, but some of the training is just as simple as socializing them. So we kind of use the play group dogs to our advantage.
Yeah. So, and that's a huge part of the reason why I wanted to do the play group, have play group dogs, is because a lot of the times, the board and trains need to be socialized with a variety of dogs, sizes and activity level and everything. So having them social with those dogs and just having them out with them all the time is so helpful. And we've gone from just a 1 day a week play group, so now we have 5 days a week, and that's why we started off with just one person helping us, and now we've hired 3 staff helping us, and we have a 4th coming.
How are you guys enjoying having staff?
It's awesome.
Is it good? Awesome.
Yes.
Because you need to be a special type of person. We're talking about personality types before. Management becomes a whole different ballgame, and then that becomes your job. So you guys are enjoying, it sounds like you have a great staff, and you guys are enjoying just the help, right?
Yep. And the staff actually came from the children of people who come here.
So
that's amazing.
They're over 18, but so it's 2 dogs that were coming to us, and their parents were bringing the family pet. And both of those pets that were coming were not so friendly, so they're totally used to it. So they jumped right up board, and they've been awesome. And
now, so when you guys are hiring your next person here, are you looking for somebody that's incredibly skilled when it comes to training, or are you just kind of looking for somebody that can just do certain tasks, like let the dogs out and stuff like that?
We're looking, so the person we have on our radar is someone who's interested in dog training, and we think that she is highly trainable.
Okay.
We didn't want someone that already knew how to train dogs, because
if you bring someone in that already knows how to train dogs, then they're going to train their own way. And I want the person that's coming in who I can tell is going to be a really good fit. I want her to train my way.
Right.
So
exactly.
And then she can develop, her own way if she ever decides to do training somewhere else.
That's like quality control, right? So that was like the idea with McDonald's in the beginning, right? I don't know if it's so much this way anymore, but that was when Ray Kroc originally started McDonald's. It was kind of like you could get the same tasting burger in California as you could in New York, right? Like it was all going to be identical. And it's the same thing in your business, where you don't want to not all dog trainers are created equal. And if you have different methodologies and ways of training, the results are going to vary inevitably, right?
Exactly.
So you guys are building a brand here, right? And with well-balanced dog training, you want people to know that when they're sending their dog there, that they're going to be able to get the same or very similar results to the person that either referred them or the reviews they read and stuff like that, and just have that same experience.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. And to add to that, because we do have staff now, and I'm not new to having staff. This isn't the first company that I've owned, but probably the most pride that I've had in a company that I've owned. I used to own a construction company before, and I'm reading a book right now, Boundaries for Leaders, which I highly recommend for people who do hire staff. So
awesome. What do you like about that book so much? What are you kind of like taking away from it?
I like that it really highlights, you know, making sure that you're really hard on what you need the person to do, but soft on the person, and recognizing that they're just people.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Mhm.
And empowering your people to do what you need them to do
Mhm.
always, and making sure that they have the right attitude,
Right.
because having the right attitude is everything. And when I see a problem and I'm like, okay, you know, how are we going to fix this? There's a dog on a top crate. He's kind of heavy, still has to go in a crate because all the dogs need to go in a crate. Mandatory nap time right now. And they're like, well, I can't get the dog in the crate. Okay, how can I empower you to make sure you get this dog in the crate? You know, do you need, you know, a step thing? Should I teach you how to teach a dog how to jump up? Like, how can we do this? And if they're like, no, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, then maybe it's not the right fit.
Right.
No.
Yep.
Because it's about attitude, and it's about making sure things happen, and making sure that people are you know, happy to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very smart. And, you know, something that I've realized, you know, from managing people in the past is you can't have the expectations that anybody's going to care about your business that the way you do about it yourself, you know, and to not, like you said, treat them like human beings, because it's very easy to, I hate to say it, but in a way you just can kind of fall into this pattern of, you're getting paid to do a job. Why is this not getting done exactly the way that it should be? And people should be held to certain standards, but, you know, not being a tyrant on people, you know, and recognizing that people are going to come into work with different emotional things and things that they're dealing with outside of it. And everyone has good days and bad days, and, you know, creating a culture where people actually want to show up every single day and, you know, move the company forward.
Yep. And the other thing that we started doing even before the book was, we have a company meeting every week on Tuesdays, and we go over goals. Each person has a goal, has nothing to do with work.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, just 3 little goals, and we try and get them done, and we ask each other about them. So
Yeah.
we can talk about things that have nothing to do with work.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So it makes it, you know, more fun.
Yeah.
And
stuff like that matters. It really does, you know, and just not being a place where people clock in, do, you know, work for 8 hours and then go home. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be like that. There's really cool places to work. And, you know, the dog training industry, it can be an amazing career, you know? So it sounds like you guys are building something really special. I think it's amazing. So I know you guys are up against a certain time here, but I just wanted to ask you before we end it here, you know, where you guys were before and where you are now, like, you know, what recommendations would you give to somebody who were in your shoes a couple months ago when you guys were first getting started out? Like, what would you do now that you've been through this?
I would have definitely, so we were like, when you first contacted us, I'm like, there's no way we can afford this. Like, it's not gonna, like, not that I didn't think it was gonna help, but I was like, I don't think it's worth it. Like,
Yeah.
It literally paid for itself like immediately.
Yeah.
it only took like, I don't know,
3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
But like, it took us a while to
get there,
to take that like jump.
Yep.
And it really changed everything.
So honestly, you know, the first time you called me, I was like, yeah, let's do this. But I had to get some reassurance first from Amanda, even though she wasn't a part of the business first, because I'm way too trusting. And it just is what it is. And then, you know, once she was on board, I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, so and it really helped. It really helped having you, you know, be so open, and really, you know, believe in this process.
Yeah. 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 That's really cool to hear, because anybody can promise you anything. Anybody can come and tell you anything, you know what I mean? And it's hard to get that across to people. You know, at the end of the day, we connected originally on Facebook, online and stuff like that. And it's like, you have no idea who people are, you know, you have no idea what their intentions are. But yeah, that's why I really appreciate you guys hopping on here and doing this, because, you know, you guys are obviously very special, both of you. You know, I love working with you guys, but at the end of the day, you know, all of us, we're not superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, you guys built a business to 30,000 plus because, you know, you just did the right things. So it's just a testament to, if you're committed to a business and you're, you know, you deliver good results, that you can have this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt that I feel like I can call you anytime.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you feel that way. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end it here, but I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on with me, and we'll definitely check in maybe in another couple of months and do another one of these and see where you're at. Maybe we're 100K at that point a month. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right,
All right.
guys. I'll catch you later.